price of freedom? We no longer trust you. My mom texted me that, and I responded understood. 2 days later, their lawyer called, frantic. Mom had sent another text. We changed all the locks on the front door, including the gate code. We no longer trust you. You never forget a sentence like that. It came in at 8:14 a.m. sharp, as if she'd practiced it all night. I just stared at it. I wasn't surprised. Deep down, I knew something like this was coming. But it felt so corporate, so clinical, like I was being dismissed from the family. The world seemed to stop, giving me time to process the insult. Without a flinch, I texted back, understood. Very smart. But I believe you forgot one detail. I didn't wait for a reply. I opened my banking app and canceled the $4,800 monthly mortgage transfer for their house. It's the one they had given my sister. They claimed she earned it because she had grandchildren. All I offered them was disappointment. 2 days later, a new message arrived from an unfamiliar number. No emojis, no passive-aggressive ellipses. Just a simple ALKP subject line from a law firm. We have an issue. Please call quickly. I never did. By the time that email arrived, my decision was made. But let me back up. Stories like this don't start with betrayal. They start with love, or at least the appearance of it. They begin with a child who constantly says yes because he believes it will eventually pay off. One day they'll say thank you. One day he'll be important. That child was me. For years I paid their bills, solved their problems, and carried their burdens. They called for help until I stopped. That morning, the locks changed. But I had already changed something far more important, myself. Honestly, I didn't think I was just helping. I believed I was saving the family, the house, the balance. If you had asked me then, I would have said, I'm just supporting them. I can afford it. But it wasn't just anything. I'd been paying their mortgage for nearly 4 years, $1,800 every month, like clockwork. It's an automatic debit, as if I were paying some sacred family tax. Add in utilities, property insurance, internet fees, and an emergency roof repair after a storm ripped off half the shingles. All of it my name, my credit, my money. They never even thanked me. My sister Marissa, of course, always had a new dilemma. My credit card maxed out, I paid it down, car needed brakes, I covered it, daycare prohibitively expensive. I sent cash, just until she figured it out. 3 years later, she was still figuring things out, and yet I never said no, not once. I assumed this was what family did until I learned it was exactly what they expected. The first crack showed on a Sunday afternoon. I was scrolling through Facebook while waiting for groceries when I saw the photo, Marissa. My parents and the kids, all in front of the house I was paying for, holding a sign that read, Home Sweet Home. Marissa's present. My mother's caption reads, so proud of our daughter for building a future we can all share. This home is in the right hands. I had to reread it. Marissa's home. Right hands. There was no acknowledgement of me, no tag, no photo credit, not even a passing weir. Grateful for Jordan's support. Just them smiling on a porch I'd paid for. The comment section was a riot of emojis, hearts, and applause. She's such a powerful woman. You are lucky to have her. She's an incredible support for your family. Even my aunt said, Marissa, you deserve every inch of that house. I wanted to throw my phone, but I didn't. I just stared at it, like a bruise I wasn't ready to touch. A few days later, I called the bank to confirm something, just to make sure the mortgage was still in my name. But then the woman on the phone nonchalantly stated, looks like there was a request submitted last week to change the primary contact to a Ms. Marissa Harper. My heart stopped. They didn't finish the verification, she explained, but the documents are being processed. I hung up. Then I examined my statements. That's when I noticed it. An extra $2,400 missing from my checking account. A transfer to a card I didn't authorize. I recognized the number Marissa's emergency visa. Yeah, the one I bailed her out with when she was temporarily unemployed 2 years ago. I messaged her quietly. Me. Have you used my card again, Marissa? Marissa. Jordan, don't make this a thing. We needed groceries and the children needed shoes. I assumed we were still sharing that one. Me? No, we were not. She didn't answer. but my mother did. "Honey," Mom said, "Marissa's going through a lot right now. She said she'll repay you. Let's not start a conflict over a few dollars." A few dollars? When it came to me, $2,400 was a small amount. But when Marissa missed a phone payment, it became a disaster. Then came the group chat. They had renamed it Family Circle, even though I never did. Someone uploaded a meme, a man handing over his wallet with the phrase, "Big Brother energy. Pay now, ask never." My cousin said tag. "Jordan, yo, can we get you to cover my student loans too?" Even my father chimed in, "Only if you rename your child after him. Gotta keep the donor happy." I stared at the screen. Nobody was defending me. Not even a joke to balance things out. I exited the chat. They added me back. I left again and blocked them all. But none of that compared to what happened on Friday. I was mowing the backyard, which I'd been maintaining for 3 seasons because, as my father once said, it's not worth hiring anyone when you're around anyway. The mower sputtered, and I took a water break. The kitchen window was open. When I heard my mother and Marissa, their voices were clear, piercing, and natural, as if this wasn't the first time. Marissa was chuckling. "Did you see his face when I told Aunt Karen the house was mine? He didn't even blink. Like a puppy, just happy to sniff the plate." Mom was giggling. "It's almost done. So once the paperwork's through, he won't be able to say a thing." "He's the one who insisted on keeping it in his name. That's on him." Then Marissa again. "Honestly, it's better this way. He's always been distant, like a guest with a wallet." And then came the words that sealed the deal. "Mama, he's not family anymore. It's just a sponsor." I didn't move. I stood there with the bottle in my hand, allowing the water to drip down my fingers like blood. I felt it. The end of whatever illusion I'd been holding on to. Not relatives, but a sponsor. They didn't realize I was listening. They didn't see me move away. But that moment, that statement, shattered something that had been crumbling for years. I swear to God, something new started to grow in its stead. Just resolve. No rage or anguish. The reckoning they didn't expect me to show up. The invitation arrived in a rigid white envelope with gold trim and embossed inscriptions. "Please join us in celebrating Diane Harper's 60th birthday." No signature, just from your family. 60 guests, a large venue, complete catering, a slideshow. I heard it was a legacy event. I didn't RSVP. I didn't call. I merely circled the date in red and prepared. 3 days before the celebration, I printed a document. $311,115.84 total financial contributions. It included mortgage, utilities, repairs, and insurance. Each line item had the date, purpose, and a copy of the bank transaction. I saved it on a USB drive, along with the audio from the open window. He is no longer family. He's only a sponsor. Screenshots of group discussions calling me a wallet, photographs of receipts, the email in which my sister submitted paperwork to have the house transferred entirely to her name. If she owned the house, she was also responsible for the loan. I messaged my grandfather that morning. He didn't respond. I didn't need him to. The venue was just what I expected. White linen tables, big 6-foot balloons, a projector showing baby pictures and beach trips, waiters in black ties, cousins in cocktail dresses, and my mother in an emerald green gown, standing in front of a placard that read, "A house is not a home without family." I almost laughed aloud. I arrived 15 minutes late on purpose. When I walked in, heads turned. Some smiled, while others stiffened. Marissa caught my eye, blinked. Twice, attempted a grin, and returned to the crowd. I didn't waver, just took a seat at the back. They didn't waste time. Marissa gave the opening address. She talked about sacrifice, love, true family. Mentioned how this year had brought us closer together. The screen behind her displayed a photograph of the house. The caption, read, "Built with love, passed down on purpose." No mention of me. Then came the toast. My mother took the microphone, dabbed her eyes, and looked around the audience like a queen giving her final blessing. "I'm proud of my daughter, Marissa. She's shown what legacy truly means, and I'm grateful that this home, our home, will stay. In the right hands, applause, smiles, until I stood up and gently approached the microphone. I wasn't going to say anything tonight, I said softly, but since we're talking about legacy, let's do the math. The projector flickered briefly before playing audio. Mom's voice. He is no longer family. He is just a sponsor. Maurice's voice. Like a puppy sniffing the plate. Gasps. Several people sat forward. A woman dropped her wine glass. I clicked again. Screen changed. Screenshot, group conversation. Tag Jordan. Only if he names his child after him. Then the bank ledger. $1,800 by 48 months. Repairs, maintenance, property tax. If this house now belongs to Marissa, I informed her, then I'm here to present a bill. Not a favor, a debt. I held up the printed invoice. 211 pages stapled. Silence. Are you serious? Marissa exclaimed. Dead serious, I said. Less. You want to call it theft? It was a gift, my mother snapped. Funny, I remarked, moving closer. I didn't sign a gift certificate. I signed every check. My father stood up as if about to launch himself. I turned to face him. Want to talk about the loan application you filled out using my name as a cosigner without telling me? I've got that too. He sat back down. That's when the door opened and my grandfather walked in. He didn't say anything at first. I stepped directly to the front of the room. All 60 guests watched as he took the microphone, glanced around, and spoke slowly. You raised a thief, he added, staring at my father, and a coward. You tried to bury your son in silence, but the thing about mud is, it doesn't hide footprints. For long, the trust is yours now, he added, looking at me. The one your father tried to redirect. I changed it last week. Marissa's name has been removed completely. Gasps again. My mom's face cracked. Marissa's knees buckled. She used the back of a chair to stabilize herself. You want a legacy? Grandpa asked, staring directly at them. Earn it the hard way? What? He dropped the mic literally and walked away. Placed the printed invoice on the gift table between a stack of boxed wine and family photo albums. You changed the locks, I announced, loud enough for the back row to hear. I changed my future. I'm not your donor. I'm your debt collector. Then I walked out. I didn't stay for cake. I didn't shake hands. I didn't look back. The celebration was over, and so was the falsehood. The clean slate the next morning, I woke to 57 unread texts. The first came from my mother. You embarrassed me for my birthday. You mocked your own blood. Then my dad. I don't care what you. Believe you are owed. You will not see a single penny. Then, as usual. Marissa uploaded a black screen on her Instagram story. Some wounds come from those who were supposed to heal you. The comments accompanying her final shot were a parade of ambiguous sympathy. You don't deserve this, Mama. Stay strong. Family will ruin you more quickly than strangers. None of them realized she had called me a pocketbook from behind a locked window. Neither of them had seen the invoice, but somebody else had. 2 days later, I received a call. From an unknown number, I answered out of pure curiosity. Greg Harper, the speaker said calmly and clearly. My name is Philip Grant. I'm an attorney representing your parents. I'd like to discuss a potential financial resolution. I didn't speak. They're not looking for a lawsuit, he explained. They want this to go away quietly. No press, no social media. In exchange, they're willing to offer a settlement. I slumped back in my chair. Let me guess, I replied, half the amount I'm owed in exchange for silence. A reasonable amount, he remarked, given the informality of the arrangement. I nearly laughed. Philip, I replied, I have every receipt, every deposit. I have audio of them mocking me. I have their voices on tape admitting what they did. I'm aware, he replied stiffly. That's why we're calling. Then here's what we'll do, I explained. Full repayment, every cent, or I file a public claim and attach the audio as evidence. You've got 72 hours. He paused. Understood. I'll be in touch. Exactly 72 hours later. The wire hit. $311,115.84. Labeled as reimbursement settlement, no. Further liability is admitted. It didn't come from my parents, not even Marissa. The sender used a private business account registered to someone I didn't recognize. It's probably a loan shark or a worried friend of my father's. That made things even better. I printed the transaction, filed the papers, and saved it 6 different times. I didn't respond, thank them, or say anything. I wasn't there to make peace. I was there to get paid. A week later, I shared a video. The background is clean. There is no rage, only clarity. Some argue that closure is about forgiveness. A wire transfer marked the end of the process for me. $311,115.84 is the cost of 4 years of silence, obedience, and funding another person's fantasy. They referred to me as a sponsor after first calling me family. Now they may say I'm settled. I blurred the account numbers while leaving the total visible. This is not about hatred. This is about facts. Facts come with receipts. The post went viral again, but this time even more so. Therapists shared it. The adult children of toxic parents stewed it. One guy DM'd stating it, encouraged him to cancel his mother's auto lease. I didn't respond. That day, my father left a voicemail. So that's it? Do you honestly believe that money can heal everything? Do you think you've won? You are no longer part of this family? I deleted it without hearing the rest. They had changed. The locks, I altered the terms. Now, I reside in a tiny modern apartment with large windows and complete silence. There's no family group chat, no late-night calls for immediate assistance. There are no guilt trips disguised as concern. People occasionally question if it hurts to be done with them. It does not. Because the reality is I'm not finished. I'm free. Freedom costs exactly $311,115.84. People keep asking if I am feeling lighter now. If cutting off my family provided me peace, closure, or whatever word people like to say when they mean, did it work? The answer is easy. I do not feel lighter. I feel more clear. Because calm isn't necessarily synonymous with weightlessness. It sometimes comes with gravity, grounded, firm sense that you're finally on your own side. After everything, they vanished. Precisely as I predicted. No calls, no letters, no we miss you. Just silence. Not the sort that hurts, but the kind that affirms the truth. I was never their son. I was a service member. And when I stopped working, I stopped mattering. 2 months. Later, I finally learned to love mornings. The way sunshine seeps through clean windows, the sound of coffee spilling rather than texting. There are no group conversations begging for favors. Can you transfer stuff quickly? No passive-aggressive. Guess who hasn't phoned their mother recently? My phone is quiet. My hands are steady. And I've stopped waiting for people to inquire how. I'm doing unless they actually care about the response. People who only know part of the story continue to ask. But they're your family. I nod. It's just as a cage remains a home if you've never known anything else. But I stepped outside. And the air out here doesn't demand proof of my usefulness. I don't tell the entire tale anymore until someone has earned it. There's no excitement in retelling trauma, only exhaustion. So today, when people wonder why I'm not close to my family, I just explain that I stopped mistaking access for affection. It typically shuts them up. I used to check my previous accounts to see if anyone had reached out. They did not. No apologies or explanations. Not even a guilt trip passed off as care. There was nothing but silence, as if I had never existed. It's like $311,115.84. Of my existence was an administrative error that they corrected by eliminating me. Fine, let them. Pretend. They excel at pretending. What's the worst part? They undoubtedly believe I still care, that I'm out here stewing in rage, waiting for an apology, secretly hoping they'll change. I am not. I have seen them for what they are. And when the mask slips that far, you don't wait for it to come back on. You walk away. You do not check your rearview mirror. Forgiveness? That's a word people use as a blanket when they're feeling guilty and want your comfort without having earned it. Forgiveness necessitates acknowledgement, accountability, and regret. They provided none of that, so I'm not returning anything. My therapist once asked me, what would you say to them now if they were in front of you? I thought about it. I sat in that chair, breathing gently, trying to visualize their faces. Those familiar masks formed over years of denial and deception. I said nothing. I wouldn't say anything because it would imply that they'd still have access, but they don't. There is no key anymore. There is no emergency contact. There are no bank accounts with shared permissions. No numbers saved just in case. I removed all traces of them from my life, not out of spite, but because of necessity. That is pretty much how survival works. It does not come with fireworks. It simply comes with locked doors and a clean slate. Sometimes I imagine them telling people, I cut them off because of money. I was always distant. That I had lost it. Sure. Let them. Allow them to keep their softened and flattering versions in which they are victims of the ungrateful child. Who dared to say no? They need fiction. I have the facts. Facts don't beg. They don't whine. They don't tremble under inspection. Facts sit stationary. They wait. They endure. Just as I did. Now I live not in a fairy tale, not in retribution. Just life, real, boring, mine. I work. I rest. I laugh when it's funny. I eat when I'm hungry, not when I'm asked to attend a family meal where I'll pay the tab and be forgotten. Remember my mother telling me years ago that if you ever left, we'd fall apart. She was correct. They did, but I did not. I am not broken. I am not bitter. I am not waiting. I'm just finished. Not as a warning, not as a statement. It's a fact like a locked phone, like a clean inbox. It's like a phone number that rings once and goes nowhere. No forwarding. It's just me, whole and free.